the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Coming up on the news at noon, a second grand jury is being requested to take a look at the fatal police shooting of Timothy Johnson, the unarmed man suspected of stealing the pair of sunglasses. How the second jury is different from the first. Many residents are protesting a data center project. Why they say the center is a waste of money.
Well, thus far on this Wednesday, we haven't had any rain showers develop, but this afternoon, we certainly have a chance. When might you be needing that umbrella? We'll have a check of the forecast in just a bit.
Thank you, Damon. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. A special grand jury will now be examining the deadly police shooting of unarmed Timothy Johnson near Tyson's Mall in Fairfax County. This comes after an earlier grand jury did not indict the Fairfax County police officer accused of killing Johnson. Our Tosin Fakile breaks down some of the differences between the special grand jury and the first grand jury that didn't indict.
A major difference is the presence of the prosecutor in the room when the officer is testifying in that case, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. But we do want to point out that the Fairfax County Commonwealth Attorney Steve Descano is the one that requested that special grand jury in this case, a move that is quite uncommon. Now, the special grand jury in the fatal shooting of Johnson comes a little over a week after a regular grand jury did not indict Officer Wesley Shiflett, who was determined to have fired that fatal shot. About 2 months ago, Timothy Johnson was shot and killed in a wooded area near the mall. Authorities say Johnson stole sunglasses from a store at the mall. Officers chased him into a wooded area, and officials say after officers yelled out for Johnson to get on the ground, both officers fired shots. The regular grand jury did not indict Officer Shiflett because it did not believe there was enough probable cause. That is according to court documents. So what is the difference between a special grand jury and a regular grand jury? Well, a regular grand jury, prosecutors are not in the room when police officers present evidence and testify to the grand jurors. In a special grand jury, prosecutors are in that room and get to ask questions to the officers who testify. According to VA courts, a regular grand jury is made up of 5 to 7 citizens of the city or county. A special grand jury is made up of 7 to 11 citizens of that city or county. According to the Associated Press, Officer Shiflett's attorney was shocked that Descano wants to present this case to another grand jury. This is not the first time Descano has called for a special grand jury in a case. Back in 2017, he did the same with another fatal police shooting. We're in Tyson's Corner. I'm Tosin Fakile for DC News Now.
I feel like I don't count at all. I feel like my husband's death was for nothing.
And victims' families reacting to a new development in the case of the man who was charged with shooting and killing 3 people in Smithsburg last June. The families say that Joe Escobar is expected to enter an insanity plea that would keep him out of prison. Families say the plea deal blindsided them. Joshua Wallace was one of the victims. His then-girlfriend, Taylor Toms, is speaking out. Tom says that she wants Escobar to get the mental help that he needs. However, she says that he should still be responsible for the deaths of the victims.
We all knew that he wasn't mentally stable just by doing the actions that he did. For God's sakes, Jeffrey Dahmer, you think that he was right in the head? No, clearly not. But he faced the consequences to his actions.
The victims' families will have a chance to give impact statements before the judge's decision on the plea at the next hearing that's scheduled for May 2nd. A woman is recovering this afternoon after D.C. Fire and EMS had to rescue her from a ravine. Police say the woman lost control of her car and drove off the road. It happened yesterday afternoon in Piney Branch Parkway. And you can see crews working together to get her to safety. D.C. Fire tweeted that the woman was seriously injured, but she's expected to recover. Well, a car crashes into the front of a Papa John's Pizza in Rockville. There are new photos that came into our newsroom, and police say that it happened around 10 o'clock last night on Frederick Avenue near College Parkway. It's not clear if anyone was hurt or if anyone was in the shop at the time of the crash. Well, taking a look outside, cloudy today with a slight chill. Let's go straight to meteorologist Damon Matson with the check on the forecast. And Damon, Could we see rain today?
Yeah, Mother Nature keeping us on our toes, to say the least. The clouds kicked things off. We broke out some sunshine, but we are watching as some showers start to develop here across the area this afternoon. Thus far, through the morning hours, we've only been noticing those showers near the Pennsylvania-Maryland line. Let's go ahead and check that out on the radar picture here. And yeah, for the most part, it is quiet, but there are those passing showers as you went mostly north of Baltimore, then moving over toward Philadelphia. That's where that rainfall has been located. A couple of light sprinkles trying to take shape over parts of western Maryland. Let's add in the cloud cover here as well. And again, we haven't had to deal with much, but you can start to see that little bit of light rain crossing over toward the I-81 corridor. That is the very leading edge of the frontal boundary that will make its way toward D.C. and the I-95 corridor. And by the time it does arrive here later today, that will spark up a better chance for those showers. So we're looking good to go, at least for the next, I'd say, 2 to 3 hours. But starting around 3 o'clock, moving then into your evening, it is going to be a little bit more on the soggy side with those isolated showers. Could even hear a couple of rumbles of thunder mixed in with that, but we're not expecting any sort of long-lasting rainfall or any sort of widespread storm activity, folks. This is just going to be a quick-hitting system as it passes through. And just in, as a matter of fact, changed on me here within the last minute. We now have a freeze warning once again for Garrett County in far western Maryland. Behind this rainfall, we're talking about temperatures taking another dip toward that freezing mark. So we're talking about rain, colder temperatures. Is this the pattern we're going to be stuck in as we head on toward the weekend? We'll have another check of that forecast here in just a bit.
Damon, thank you. The new Carrollton police chief is out of a job after he was fired. David Rice told DC News Now that he was handed a termination letter that said that he was insubordinate in several past incidents. He says that he was unaware of that until he was let go. Rice believes that his termination is in retaliation to filing a complaint against the mayor.
Today when they came in, there was nothing more embarrassing than having to be walked out. And they escorted me out to make sure I'd leave the property. It's a kick right in the stomach. And because there was nothing to justify it.
And 4 months ago, Rice was banned from the police department property. Court documents described it as a temporary measure after an employee said that she feared for her life during a meeting with Rice. We reached out to the mayor's office for comment, and we were told that the city cannot comment on personnel matters. Maryland Governor Wes Moore is reviewing a new report on crime in the state. Overall, it shows about 50,000 fewer crimes committed. However, it also shows an increase in murders and rapes. Decline in the past year. Sheriff Brian Albert credits some of that change to COVID-19 pandemic calming down. Albert also says that crime reporting and more specialized units joining the force have made an impact.
We only have X amount of people, and we have to have so many things that we have to do that, you know, we don't want to take away from those, the backbone, which is patrol, but we also want to do those specialized units that we can target violent crime or crimes against people here in the county.
Well, this new report shows all crimes in Washington County are on the decline. Well, the fight over data centers continues in Prince William County. Last night, a developer held an open house to share their plans with neighbors. That developer was met with a protest. DC News Now's Lex Suarez is at the Prince William County Administration Center and explains this plan all hinges on what happens inside of the building.
Well, it all started last November when the amended comprehensive plan was approved by the County Board of Supervisors. That gave the PW Digital Gateway project the green light to get started. And last night's meeting was in Gainesville. It gave neighbors a chance to talk one-on-one with the developer Compass Data Centers. A crowd gathered outside of the open house to protest the development. They don't want the noise that comes from data centers and have environmental concerns over water and land disruption. They also also don't want historical sites to be disturbed. Compass says that their planned design is intentional to avoid any of those issues of concern, and additionally, they say that the center is vital to everyday life in today's world.
Makes our phones work, makes our bank accounts work, and this is going to be a location that will accommodate that and also create great tax revenue for Prince William County to use in their underfunded schools and transportation networks.
We'll keep researching the issues. That is what I do.
Stop the digital gateway.
Stop it. So stop it. Think about it. Let's plan better, and that is on the shoulders of the county.
Well, the full plan for the PW Digital Gateway project is not fully approved yet. Compass does still have to get some permits approved by the Planning Board and the Board of Supervisors here. They hope to have that done by the end of the year. In Prince William County, I'm Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
Lex, thank you. As the debt ceiling deadline approaches, Democrats and Republicans are clashing on possible solutions. President and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are struggling to find common ground on how they want to handle the government's finances. The president mostly wants higher taxes on the wealthy to lower the deficits. The speaker wants to pass a proposal that would cut an estimated $4.8 trillion off of deficits. Well, this would be accomplished through spending caps on discretionary spending. Both the president and the speaker say that they don't want to default, but common ground will need to be found to avoid it. Washington correspondent Trevor Shirley takes a closer look.
Some experts say the country could only be a matter of weeks away from hitting that debt ceiling. The GOP House bill we're talking about could potentially get a vote today. That bill would cut spending over a 10-year period in exchange for raising the debt ceiling $1.5 trillion or until March 31st, whichever comes first. The spending cuts would include ending credits for biofuels and adding new work requirements for those getting federal public assistance like Medicaid. It would bring spending back to 2022 levels and cap annual spending increases going forward at 1%. If it passes the House, though, it is not expected to pass the Senate. The White House says the debt ceiling is too important to play politics over, arguing that Republicans should just agree to raise the country's borrowing limit on its own. If the debt ceiling is reached, likely in June, without a resolution to all this, experts say a financial catastrophe would happen with millions of people losing their jobs.
Now they want to play Russian roulette with our economy and refuse to pay our bills unless we make devastating cuts that would hurt everyday people. This is an all-time high in recklessness and stupidity.
We will limit future federal spending, we will save funds that are not necessary to spend, and we will grow the economy. And having put the nation on a more sustainable fiscal path, we will raise the debt ceiling through next spring.
Now, again, we could potentially see a vote on this bill today. If not today, later this week. It all depends on whether or not House Speaker McCarthy has the votes to get it out of the House.